Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Couch Potato Podcast. Coming up, when the crew of the Nostromo responds to a distress signal from a barren planet, they discover a deadly life form that breeds within human host. Now the crew must fight to stay alive and prevent the creature from reaching Earth. That's right, gang. We are doing 1979's Alien, and that's coming up right here, right now on the Couch Potato Podcast.
Alien. Rated R. Get tickets now in theaters April 26th for a limited time.
All right, Adam, welcome back. I had a brief vacation again.
Yeah.
Taking a lot of time off.
Define vacation.
I don't know. I just think you're taking advantage of the generous PTO benefit that we offer here on the show.
Oh yeah. No, the PTO is great on this show for sure.
Yeah, I know. Lucas is still using his PTO like a year later.
Yeah. We're gonna have to stop paying him eventually.
He's become Milton from Office Space. We fixed the glitch.
But yeah, had some fun times at my regular everyday job. Made me extra tired. Needed to take some PTO. Back in the saddle, ready to go.
Hey, you know what? Life gets in the way. That's why we need somebody to pick this show up so this could be our full-time job.
Exactly.
Either that or we tried the sponsorship thing for a hot take. No one bid on that. So we're just begging you. Like, I'll start a Kickstarter or a GoFundMe or something. Just donate money so we could just do this for a living.
Yeah.
Or pay us not to do it anymore. I mean, there's also that.
Yeah, if you don't want us to do it, you can pay us not to do it, and we won't do it.
If you think the show is so bad to where you think that the world would be a much better place without it, pay us and we'll quit doing it. Pay us to go away.
A certain amount. I'm not taking $1.
No, I mean, like, I want, I think we deserve fuck you money. Like, to be paid enough to, like, where, and
right.
Fuck you, like, so, we could possibly bribe our way out of trouble.
Right, exactly.
Or I could just buy an RV and travel the country, attending film festivals, music festivals, things like that. And not have to worry about shit, like I've only got like $50 left. What the fuck?
Can't get gas money for that RV with $50.
No, we're selling the RV for a Mazda Miata.
We're gonna get a Volt.
I can't even buy a Tesla or what's that? A Prius? That's Toyota's.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't want a Prius though, because every time I see that car, I'm reminded of Dirty Mike and the boys from the other guys.
Yeah.
Every time I see one, I always like, is that a soup kitchen? Or has it been a soup kitchen before?
Perfect.
All right. Well, hey, picked a great time to come back. We're going to rattle off some bangers here. Next few weeks, we're going to have some really awesome movies coming at you. And to kick things off, I didn't realize that this movie was celebrating its, 45th anniversary?
That's the 79?
89, 99. Yeah, 45 years this month.
Well, That's a milestone.
Yeah. This movie now is closer to death and Social Security than it is being able to drink. But we're doing Alien today, the 1979 Ridley Scott sci-fi horror classic. When was the first time you had a chance to check this movie out? Because my path to this was kind of unique, but I want to hear what you had to say first.
Oh man, yours is gonna blow mine out of the water since I'm going first, but that's okay. Like most movies of this age, I saw it first on television. Most of the bad scenes cut out. And I believe it was at my grandfather's house where I saw Jaws as well. Most of the, gory scenes cut out of it. And then I revisited it on VHS. For those kids that don't know what VHS is, it's a big boxy Blu-ray, basically.
Yeah, it's basically like a spool of tape that has movie film on it, and you had to put it into this gigantic box that most likely it was going to take a shit on you at some point and eat the thing.
Yep.
And you had to go buy another one.
Yep. Unless you bought like VHS head cleaners or things of that nature.
That's true.
But I was able to watch the entire thing. I don't believe I've ever seen the director's cut of this. I've only ever seen the theatrical cut. So, but it had been probably before I watched it for this. It had been probably since 2008 that I watched this movie. So it's been a minute.
For me, the first Alien movie I seen was Alien Resurrection.
Okay.
My friend Jeff, who I've mentioned a time or two on this show, probably most notorious for skipping out on 7 to see Showgirls because he had an inside track to get into the auditorium. But he was like my movie going buddy back when I was in school. Like him and I went to the movies, 2-3 times a week probably. I mean, we were always at the movies. And I had heard of the Alien movies. I had never seen them. And he said, "Do you want to go see Alien Resurrection?" And I'm like, sure, why not? I have no clue what the fuck's going on in this anyways. So I watched it, didn't really care for it. So it never dawned on me to go watch the originals. And I had come across Alien 3 on, it might have been AMC one night. This was much, much later. It might have been 10 years later, 15 years later. Didn't care for it either. And I still had no desire to see the Alien movies at all. I was like, man, like I don't understand the hype, whatever. And then I think it might have been like 6 or 7 years ago. I just said, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna watch them, see what all the hubbub's about. And I watched Alien and Aliens back to back. Holy fuck, what an experience!
Yeah, the first two are, and I mean, you can say this about a lot of movie franchises. Like the first ones are the best ones, but honestly, the first two are the best Alien movies in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that Aliens, the James Cameron one from '86, I believe, is in the running for one of those rare sequels that is as good or better than the original.
Oh, okay. I would put them neck and neck. I don't know. It's really hard to choose, but yeah, no, they're fantastic.
Well, I think they're kind of completely different movies. Like I've always considered Alien to be a horror movie.
It is.
And Aliens is more of a sci-fi action movie, which is Cameron's wheelhouse.
Agreed. Yeah.
But I mean, if I'm picking, I would probably give Alien the slight edge over Aliens simply because this movie, like, I don't know, it's the setting itself is really scary. It's in outer space. And even the tagline is, in outer space, nobody can hear you scream.
Right.
And I just think, like, just being isolated in outer space on that ship with this creature, which, like Jaws, you don't even get to see it that much. You only get to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I read that the alien is only on screen for a total of about 4 minutes. And this movie runs almost 2 hours.
Yeah, it's hardly ever on screen. It's definitely the aesthetic, the setting that makes it scary.
Mm-hmm. And they do such a fantastic job of, like, setting a mood, and they don't do what a lot of horror movies do, where they kind of tell the audience a scare's coming with, like, either like a music cue or like a noise or anything like that. It's just the silence, and then all of a sudden, boom! Like as an example, the Dallas scene, Captain Dallas, where he's in the bowels of the ship, and then Veronica Cartwright's character is screaming like, it's coming, and like
it wasn't there, and then for like a split second, anyways.
Or even in the most famous scene, the chest burster scene, like normally you would have had some kind of like clue, like, hey, something bad's about to happen to John Hurt's character. And then, no, they're just having a normal conversation. They even make a joke about, like, and a question I have is, like, that dude, we don't know how long he was isolated, or like he had that on his face.
Right.
But why isn't that fucking dude in quarantine? Like, why are you not feeding him in a separate room? Like, he just, like, oh, he's good now. Things off his face. This monster that we've never seen before. Like, okay, come on back.
I'm pretty sure they leave the face hugger on the table too, like off to the side. Like, can you put that in something, please?
I bet they just like swept it up with a broom and threw it in the trash can. That would have been what Parker would have ended up doing. But even that scene, it's a normal conversation with like people that have been essentially together for months on end, and you don't think anything of it. Then all of a sudden, like, he starts choking, and then, like, boom, of course, the wheels get set in motion in there. So yeah, I mean, they just create such a mood that you can't really, you're almost uncomfortable watching it because you're afraid of what's going to happen. You're on edge on what's going to happen next. And I find that's so fantastic. And I wish a lot of horror movie directors use that more than just like telling the audience, like, all right, you're going to jump here in a second. I just wish that was more of a thing.
Yeah. I've gotten the feeling like a lot of newer horror movies, and even in some action movies, they use the dialogue and the score to tell the audience how to feel, versus just making the score and the dialogue flow with the audience feelings.
That seems to be like a common thing in movies in general anymore. They're telling you how to feel, and it's like, just tell the story and let them feel how they feel.
Exactly. Yeah, it's letting the art speak for itself rather than, just injecting that into the art to elicit an emotion.
Yeah, but plus, I kind of stomping on our notes a little bit too, but first, like, major film role for Sigourney Weaver. Right. Kind of set the template for the female action star, which I don't think anyone's ever really taken that title from her.
I don't think so, no.
I mean, Charlize has come close.
You can say Uma Thurman tried with
the Kill Bills.
Yeah.
Jolie had Mr. and Mrs. Smith and Wanted.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Sigourney Weaver's hands down like the queen for this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Ripley is probably one of the most iconic action characters in film history. I mean, she's right up there, in my opinion, with like the Terminator and Indiana Jones and Batman and those guys.
the fact that she like stared down the alien by herself and was able to get it out of the ship, like that woman has more balls than all the men combined on that ship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I just such a well written character. I just wish that the last two Alien movies would have, kind of did the first two justice, because like it's like the Terminator movies to an extent. Like,
Mm-hmm.
granted, like they're never going to capture the heights of the original two, but man, everything post Aliens has been such a letdown.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, well, I'd say I like Prometheus, and I thought Covenant was okay. And for those of you who don't know, Alien has, if you count the Alien versus Predator movies, there's Aliens, Alien 3, Resurrection, Prometheus, Covenant, Predator versus Alien versus Predator 1, and then there's a second one, right?
Yeah.
So there's seven movies in that franchise, and there's an eighth coming out in August, which looks like it's going back to its horror roots. Because I think it's Fede Alvarez who did the Evil Dead remake, which was really good.
Right.
So I'm kind of excited for it. Did you see the trailer for that one yet?
I didn't see the trailer, but I did read about it.
We're going.
Yep. Agreed.
All right. You ready to knock some categories out the box?
Oh, for sure.
All right. Tail of the tape. For those of you that don't know, Alien is rated R, rightfully so. I mean, 1979, it's pretty gory. A little tame by today's standards, but still, it's a definite R. This was released on May the 25th, 1979. Stars Sigourney Weaver, Tom Skerritt, Ian Holm, Veronica Cartwright, Yaphet Kotto, my dude, John Hurt, and Harry Dean Stanton. And that's pretty much the cast. That's the entire cast of the movie.
Yeah, it's a small cast, and I think they did a really good job casting everyone.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Directed by Ridley Scott, which I think this is only the second movie we've done of Ridley Scott here on the show. We did Gladiator, which you can listen to on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Cheap plug of the show, and it's 16 minutes into it.
Yeah. I think we're getting better.
I think we are too. I mean, I'm just not going to say, hey, we're doing next week, say we do like Dunkirk. Like, oh, yeah, we did The Dark Knight like 2 minutes in. Rotten Tomatoes score 93% from critics, 94% from audiences. The consensus, a modern classic, Alien blends science fiction, horror, and bleak poetry into a seamless whole. Which, doing research on this is one of those movies that came out and it wasn't as critically beloved as it is now. A lot of critics have gone back and reevaluated it over time. But I know it wasn't super critically acclaimed back when it was released.
I could see that.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that at the time, there might be a handful of science fiction movies that are kind of like staples or classics, like obviously Star Wars was the year 2 years before, Close Encounters in 2001. But for the most part, science fiction was more of a cheaply made, schlocky, like B movie.
Day the Earth
genre.
Stood Still, the original.
Yeah, the original Planet of the Apes would be in that category too. But yeah, for the most part, it was just like, hey, here's $1 million, make us a science fiction movie, and you'd have like a bunch of aliens and like cheap rubber suits and like really cheap ray guns, things like that.
Yeah.
So something like this coming along, I could see that, just because like, well, fuck, I don't know how to take this. I've never seen anything like this before.
Yeah.
The budget is actually, I don't know what the actual budget was because I've read a couple different things. My original notes was the budget was $11 million, and this grossed $184.7 million at the box office. But I've got some notes on the budget. Did win the 1980 Oscar for Best Visual Effects.
Okay.
And you can currently stream this on Hulu.
Oh, okay. And I believe it's also on Disney Plus.
It's not. I wanted to test the Disney Hulu thing because there's some programming that's been popping up on Schitt's Creek.
It's from Hulu.
I have not seen Schitt's Creek, and then my wife has already watched it. She started introducing me to the show, so we've been watching that on Disney Plus. And for some odd reason, I can't watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia on Hulu. Like, they only give you like the first 8 episodes of season 1, but the whole run of the show is on Disney Plus, which that is definitely not a Disney Plus show.
That's true. I forgot that they did Hulu programming on Disney Plus as well.
Yeah, but I went to look and see if the Alien movies were on there, and I know at least the first 2 are not.
Okay. Well, I looked the other day and I saw the first Alien, but you're right. It was Hulu programming, if I remember correctly. So,
well, either way, you can watch it on Hulu. And if you have Disney Plus, chances are you have Hulu anyways, because they did have that really sweet $12.99 bundle where you got Hulu and ESPN and Disney Plus all together. So,
sponsor us, Disney.
Oh, we know that ain't happening. We got a better chance of getting sponsored by Hulu. Did you know? This is the part of the program where we give you some interesting facts and tidbits about the production, behind the scenes stuff about the movie. As we touched on, this was Sigourney Weaver's first major film role. She had primarily been on Broadway, and she had done some small stuff. I believe she was in Annie Hall, if I remember. I know she was in a Woody Allen movie, had a small role in that. But yeah, this was her first major Hollywood role, was as Ripley, which Ripley wasn't even, I don't think when you watch this, you don't think she's the main character until probably about 30 to 40 minutes left in the movie.
Right. Yeah. Because you think it's Dallas.
This tidbit I thought was extremely fascinating. Meryl Streep was considered for the Ripley part, but they apparently never contacted her as she was still grieving the death of John Cazale, who, I don't know if our audience knows who John Cazale is, but if you don't, please do yourself a favor and check this guy out. He only made 5 movies. He unfortunately died of lung cancer too soon, but his 5 movies were The Godfather, The Conversation, The Godfather 2, Dog Day Afternoon, and The Deer Hunter. An absolute murderer's row of films.
For sure.
Just off of, there's tons of actors that are super popular and super famous that don't have 5 good movies to their name, and they've been making movies for 30 years. This guy has these 5 in 5 years, 5 or 6 years, I think.
Wow.
But yeah, they've been in a relationship, and he had died. She was still getting over that. So she unfortunately never bothered to contact her. But I think Streep could have done it, but I don't think Sigourney Weaver kind of has a physical look to her. She looks like she could handle herself in a fight much better than Sigourney Weaver could, or Meryl Streep. So I think
it's halfway between super strong and somewhat feminine. It's that perfect middle line. I'm not saying that girls aren't strong. I'm saying
no, we're not saying that here at all.
Like I said before, she had more balls than everybody on that ship, but she definitely has that perfect look about her.
the script for Alien apparently had been rejected by every major studio. It wasn't until Star Wars became the phenomenon that it did that all of a sudden Alien got renewed interest. And Fox went ahead and picked it up and almost gave it a green light immediately. And I guess apparently Fox picked it up because they wanted to get another sci-fi movie in the theaters. And they had reached out to Lucas to check on the status of the Star Wars sequel, which became Empire Strikes Back.
Right.
And he said that wasn't going to be ready for another 3 years. So they needed something to fill the gap between Star Wars and Empire.
Which, you know what? I know it didn't do too hot according to the critics back then, but it's a pretty good movie to have in between those two. It's like a nice sci-fi sandwich.
Oh, dude, like just, man, like Alan, what was I can't think of the former head of Fox's 20th Century Fox for the life of me. He's Alan Horn, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
That guy had a track record. Like, he greenlit Star Wars. He got Alien amongst all the other stuff that Fox had been putting out.
Yeah.
Ridley Scott. Apparently when I was typing this, I must have been doing this super late. I wrote Robert Scott, not Ridley Scott. Robert Scott nor Ridley Scott were Fox's first choice to direct this film. Potential directors the studio considered were including Robert Aldrich, Peter Yates, Jack Clayton, Dan O'Bannon, and Walter Hill. And also I read that Robert Altman, too, which if Robert Altman would have made Alien, I don't know how that would have.
Yeah.
He has a very distinct style. Altman's a fantastic director, probably one of the 20 greatest of all time, but I don't think he would have been the right choice for an Alien movie. Aldrich came super close, but the producers ultimately decided to pass after they met him in person. And I guess from what I was reading, according to David Giller, in an interview, that the moment Aldrich kind of talked himself out of contention was during the facehugger. They were talking about the facehugger scene. And he said, we'll put some entrails on the guy's face. It's not as if anyone's going to remember that critter once they've left the theater anyways.
The facehugger is one of them. Yeah, sure.
But it's apparently he was not really showing much enthusiasm. He was kind of just doing it more as like a paycheck movie than anything.
Yeah.
Which, looking up Aldrich's IMDb, the only thing I could really find of note was he did Whatever Happened to Baby Jane.
Oh, well, yeah.
This one's very fascinating as well. Harrison Ford turned down the role of Captain Dallas. He was not interested in becoming typecast as a sci-fi actor so soon after Star Wars.
Well, I don't think he was typecast, but I mean, Star Wars and then Indiana Jones, which, we can argue Indiana Jones has a little bit of that mystical sci-fi aspect to it.
Mm-hmm. Well, he ends up doing another sci-fi movie with Ridley Scott a couple years later. He did Blade Runner.
Yeah.
So if they didn't offer you enough money, Harrison, just say like, I want more money and I'll do it. But
yeah.
I guess from what I was reading too, while Ridley Scott was waiting on the budget for Alien to get finalized, he got bored and decided to storyboard the whole movie. And once Fox seen the storyboards, they doubled the budget, which at the time, according to this particular piece of information I got, the original budget was 4.2 and then they doubled it to 8.4. So I'm trying to figure out where that $11 million is from, unless it kind of went over overproduction or, went over on filming and they had to add more to the budget. But still though, that's pretty impressive to double the budget based solely on storyboards.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's a thing anymore.
Storyboarding?
I mean, you don't really hear much of it.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I know that they started using CG to storyboard a lot of things. So maybe it's like just morphed into that.
I don't know. I really like in those documentaries when they show you the storyboards. It's just like very rough sketches of like what the scene's going to be. I'm like, man, that's so fucking cool. That, like somebody just goes and does that, and they just map out their entire movie that way. The Star Wars one's in that. What's that? Star Wars documentary, the big one.
The
Empire of Dreams,
Empire of
isn't it?
Dream.
Yeah.
They show Dream.
Yeah, they showed like some of the storyboards for that, and I was like, man, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Why can't I get that gig?
The storyboard artist for the Coen brothers actually does a radio show outside of or actually it's in Yellow Springs. I think it's for WISO.
Funny you mention that. I do believe that a friend of the show, Mark, is friends with that guy.
Yeah, he is. But my dad ended up getting a storyboard, a piece of the storyboard for the Big Lebowski signed by that guy from WYSO.
I'll give your dad $20 for that right now.
It's actually the dude bowling. It shows him throwing the bowling ball down the alley.
That would be something I would want. Give your dad my number. Cool. We'll chat.
Okay.
I'm sure that he'll just like, no, go fuck yourself. I'm not getting rid of it. All right, $30.
Final offer.
The original title for this film was called Star Beast. Woof.
No.
God, that title fucking sucks. That sounds like a B horror movie.
It does.
Or a sci-fi flick.
That's awful.
I thought this was actually really cool. This was the first R-rated movie to receive a tie-in featuring toys marketed towards kids.
Oh, really?
Yeah. For Christmas 1979, Kenner marketed an Alien toy, but instead of it being like the Star Wars, the 3 to 4 inch figures, it was 18 inches, and it didn't have any of the ship, the crew of the ship. They didn't make any figures of them. And I guess he had a hinged jaw, but the figure was highly breakable.
Oh.
And from what I read, due to parental complaints, Kenner pulled the action figure. The toy has since become a collector's item, with mint box versions going for as much as $1,000.
Holy crap. Wow. That's I wonder, I would have enjoyed having an action figure of just like Ian Holmes' headless body, but then his head like right next to him.
Yeah, milk sold separately.
Last word.
The last one I got is Ridley Scott cited 3 movies as the shaping influences for Alien. Cited Star Wars, obviously, because Star Wars kind of made sci-fi. Took sci-fi in a new direction and made it people take it seriously for a change.
Right.
Yeah, 2001: A Space Odyssey, which I have never sat and watched that movie all the way through.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know. I just couldn't get into it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it is a slow burn for sure.
I've tried. And then the last one is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He said he wanted to make a Texas Chainsaw Massacre in space.
Okay. Well, I think he succeeded.
I think so too. Although the alien doesn't carry around a chainsaw.
It doesn't. It has the chainsaw inside of its mouth, though. It's that little mouth inside the mouth.
Yeah. And it slobbers acid.
It does. It has that pointy tail that can slice you to bits.
Yeah, but no chainsaw, though. Did you have any facts that I know you usually find the goofs.
I do have a couple of goofs. One of them I actually found on the internet and then watched. The other one I actually found in real time, which was hilarious. So at the point when Ripley is down near the engine with Brett and Parker, and they have the steam on, and you can't really hear, and they turn it off and kind of like joke around with each other. But she's still when she's still down there and she's talking to them, you can totally tell that she dubbed over that because at one point she's talking and her mouth isn't moving, and it's for a really long time. Like you can definitely tell. Like, wait a second, she's not even moving her mouth, and then immediately she says things really slowly, like she's trying to match the mouth movements. Like, did she just have a stroke?
I'm struggling with the words.
That one I found in real time. I thought that was pretty funny. So if you give it a watch, just check out for Ripley not moving her mouth at all.
So that's legit. That's not like just like a playback error, whatever you were watching it on.
Right. I played it back a few times. It is legit. And then I actually went and grabbed my my Blu-ray, threw that in. No, it's on there. Theatrical version at least.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, no, she definitely dubbed over that. Kind of looks like she had a stroke there for a second. The second goof that I found was one that I had found online and wanted to check out. So when Ripley is running through the corridors and she's trying to get out before the self-destruct sequence finishes, you can actually see a crew member in the back holding a black panel trying to be invisible. It's right before she gets to the escape pod, and it's very noticeable.
How funny would it have been if she just stopped and like ran up to her, like, dude, you need to get the fuck out of here. This thing's getting ready to blow up in a minute.
Here, take this cat.
Oh, I got some thoughts on that fucking cat.
But those are the only couple of goofs that I found. I did see something rather interesting that I was reading where in the scene that they had all the eggs and the leathery eggs that opened up, there's something organic inside. He gets lowered down into that chamber and there's blue lasers. They actually borrowed those lasers from The Who. The band was actually testing the lasers in the studio next to them, so they decided to use them.
Oh, okay.
So blue lasers from The Who are the ambiance for that scene.
Thanks, Mr. Daltrey and Mr. Townsend.
The last one that I had was there are several nicknames for the alien from the Nostromo. Of course, Nostromo alien. But one is let's see here. I have my notes here. Kane's son, which is something that is said in the movie. I think that's kind of weird. Like
a little bit, yeah.
That's not cool, man.
That essentially means that face hugger was essentially throat fucking Kane for like who knows how long.
Right. I mean, technically that's what the aliens do, but I don't like to think of them like that. That's not cool.
Kane's the throat goat.
The throat goat. And of course, Geiger's alien because of the designer. People call it that. It definitely looks different than the newer Alien movies because it is that guy in the suit, and they do change it to be better with each subsequent movie. And then, of course, you get CG elements in the newer ones. But
didn't Stan Winston do the alien in Aliens?
I think so. Yeah, I would have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure you're right.
Keep going. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Okay. But I don't mind the design of the alien in this movie. You can definitely tell it's a guy in a suit, and I know that Ridley Scott didn't want that to happen. But there's a couple of different times where you're like, okay, well, the alien has baby arms when he's trying to reach out for Dallas in the vents underneath the Nostromo. Like, uh, it's behind you, Dallas. It's behind you. And then, you get that little moment of like relief, like there's no alien. And then there's suddenly an alien and he reaches out for him. Got those baby arms. But overall, I think they did a really good job. Like, it definitely doesn't look like one of those older Godzilla movies with the guy in a suit.
Oh no, for sure. Well, I mean, I guess that's part of the appeal, or what makes it work, though, is you don't see it that much.
Right. Yeah. And I think a lot of alien movies, when it comes to making aliens, they make them look like people. And then you can tell they're fake because they're trying to be like, they're trying to make them like weird people, like the gray aliens with the big eyes. Like, that never really works as an aesthetic. This one has like that elongated skull and the big tail and stuff like that. Yeah, it has human features, but I think that helps this movie for sure. But yeah, it is one that many fans have differentiated from other aliens in the series. I think
Stan Winston did do the alien for Aliens too. Or Aliens.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Also. He did it for Aliens also.
Just perfected H.R. Geiger's design. Yeah, so Kane's son, Geiger's alien. Big Chap is another one. Just different differentiations of this alien from others. I honestly, like, this is the first Alien movie that I saw, which is odd because I usually, like, when I get introduced to a series, I'm always like 3 or 4 movies in when it's something this old. But this is the first one that I saw, so this is the Alien that I like measure up the scariness or the strengths of all the other aliens to. This one isn't like super fast or anything, but like,
it's a slow burn.
Yeah. But when you look at how strong it is, when it just overpowers Parker, or when it just drags Brett up and out, like, that's one of my favorite scenes is when he's looking for the cat and it's super silent and you can't, like, well, I'll probably get into this later. It's not my favorite scene in the movie, so I'm not stepping on that, but like, you can tell like that scene is one of the scenes that makes the alien, it establishes what the alien is. He's super strong. He like stands up behind him and then he like slowly turns around like, oh God.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's so cool. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's all I had.
Okay. Yeah. I wish I would have discovered the alien first and then like made my way through it instead of like starting at like the 4th one. But then again, I guess it kind of was a blessing in disguise because then like the bar had been set so low that when I finally got to watch Alien and Aliens, like, holy fuck, these used to be good. All right, the Martin Scorsese, this is Cinema Award for the best scene of the movie. There's a lot of really cool scenes in this movie. I mean, anything from like Ripley trying to, like, after she's set self-destruct sequence on the Nostromo, even like where they discover the ship and the space jockey and the aliens for the first time. But it's got to be the chest burster sequence. Yeah,
chest burster sequence. I think this movie does a really good job of leading you into a false sense of security. Like, okay, facehugger's off, everything's fine. Boom, chest burster.
Well, that's what I meant with, like, when we were talking earlier. Yeah. It's just the fact that it's just everything's fine. I still don't get why they just thought it was okay for him to come eat with them, but that's neither here or there now. But yeah, you think it's like, okay, everything's back to normal. Ash is good, or not Ash. Kane is good.
Yeah.
You know, he's eating some kind of weird looking salad dish and then he starts choking. And then boom. This little fucking penis-looking alien just comes out of his chest. It scampers off.
Yeah, and if this is your first Alien movie, of course, for you, it wasn't your first Alien movie. You knew it was going to grow into the big alien. But like, if it's your first Alien movie and you're watching this, you're like, well, that little guy's off somewhere. Somebody's got to find that and kill that thing. You're not going to expect the giant, like, more than man-sized alien that shows up behind Brett.
Mm-hmm. Well, I had already. This is probably one of the most iconic sequences in horror history. As a matter of fact, I think in the AFI scariest moments, I think this makes the top 5 or 6.
Yeah.
But I already knew of this more than anything because they parodied the moment Spaceballs.
Oh yeah.
And that's how I was introduced to it for the first time, was Spaceballs, when actually John Hurt is in the movie and he says, "Oh no, not again." And then the alien pops out and does that little singing "Putting on the Ritz."
Putting on the Ritz.
But yeah, I think this has to be the best scene in the movie, just because it still comes out of fucking nowhere.
Oh yeah. And yeah, like I was saying, there's a lot of scenes like that. This one takes the cake for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Ripley, like, trying to outrun the self-destruct. Like I was saying before, one of my favorite scenes is when he's looking for the cat and come here, Jonesy, and it's super slow and very silent. The engine sounds like a heartbeat. Mm-hmm. And you get that slow thump, 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 thump in the background. But then you get the water coming down too. Like, you can hear the drips of water in the background. It is so masterfully done because you're listening to all the sounds and you don't care that it's just a dude looking for a cat. Mm-hmm. That scene itself is scary because it's so dark and silent.
Well, not only that too, is it kind of extends a little bit, so you kind of like think that nothing's going to happen to him because you expect it to happen fairly quickly, and then you're watching it like, well, still nothing's happened to him. Maybe he's going to make it this time, and all of a sudden, like, nope, totally wrong. Nope.
Yeah,
and then that motherfucking cat is like watching it go down, like with a little bit of set. I hate that fucking cat.
Man, I was watching this with Jenna. For those of you listening, that's my wife. I was watching this with Jenna the last time I watched it. She had never seen it before. She's like, "Tell me the cat survives." And I was like, "I'm not going to tell you," but that was all she was worried about, is the cat surviving.
Man, fuck that cat. I got a question, a burning question about that cat coming up soon. But yeah, okay. I do not like that cat at all. But we're in agreement, though, that the chest burster scene's the best scene of the movie.
Agreed.
All right, the Andy Dufresne Award, Get Busy or Get Busy Dying, for best or most quotable line of the film. Now, I found that this movie doesn't have like that piece of dialogue that really stands out that gets quoted as you get, like 20 years from now, like, or even 40, 50 years, like the Godfather, "I'll make you an offer you can't refuse," or we need a bigger boat, things like that. It doesn't have that iconic quotable line, but there's a lot of really good pieces of dialogue in this. Well, what would be your favorite or most quotable piece from this movie?
So I have a couple, and I think I know which one we're going to agree on. Literally anything Ash says is super quotable. I really like Ian Holm as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
even before he was Bilbo. I could only imagine Ash in the Shire. But he says a whole bunch of things about the alien, such as like perfect organism. Its purity is only matched by its hostility. No conscience. That sort of thing. I really like that kind of monologue there. And I also like it when he's talking to them and his head is lopped off and it's on the side. When they figure out he's an android. But when he's saying, last word, your chances aren't going to be great. Like, what a dick.
Mhm. Well, he's like pretty much on his battery's almost zapped. So what the fuck does he care?
Right, exactly.
I'm out this bitch in like 5 minutes anyway. So I think that's in the director's cut. He actually says that. He goes, I'm out this bitch in like 5 minutes anyway. So what the fuck do I care?
I haven't seen the director's cut, so I'm going to have to take your word for it.
I'm guessing. I've never seen a director's cut either. I'm guessing it is.
Okay, cool.
If not, it should be.
Well, it's in our head canon until we actually watch the director's cut. But the anything he says is great. I love him as a secondary antagonist. Of course, we know the alien is the primary antagonist, but you got to have that smart, conniving, evil and behind the scenes, and then the big brutish strengths in the background. So, and then my second one that I really like, and I think this is the one that we're going to agree on, is Ripley's monologue at the end when she's telling the flight recorder that she's the only survivor. That is such a good line. Like that just sums up the movie, because she's like finally relieved that she's gotten rid of this alien, but she's also going into the unknown, not knowing if anybody's going to be able to pick her up. And, she's like, with any luck, I'll make it. But, who knows?
Yeah, that's the one I was going to pick too, because you kind of get a happy ending with like she's rid herself of the alien, but then like she doesn't know what's going to happen next. So it's kind of like you get kind of a happy ending, but you kind of don't. Which I was reading the original, like the ending Ridley Scott wanted was basically like the alien decapitates Ripley.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. And then like there's like, no, we can't do that. So yeah, you get Ripley kind of, going into the unknown. Plus she's got that fucking cat with her. So that even like adds to like, man, this kind of sucks.
The alien, so the cat was still like in the room with the alien while Ripley was getting the spacesuit on. Alien didn't give a fuck. Alien was like, whatever, cat, you stay there. I'm worried about this human in the room. Like
that, that sequence where she discovers the aliens in that ship made me jump the other night. Cause that's like, it was kind of one of those moments, like if you, and we've all had it happen to us at some point where you're like looking around and then like all of a sudden something that shouldn't be there is there, like a fucking like a spider or like a wild, like something that could potentially harm you. Like you're just like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
It was kind of one of those moments.
That shirt that's hanging on the doorknob that you don't remember is there, and then you turn around and you think it's a person. Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my pick too, is the whole monologue, just because it's kind of a bleak ending still, even though aliens floating around somewhere in space.
Quick side note, I did watch the movie and then get a hankering to play the Alien Isolation video game, which came out in 2014 for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Shows Ripley's daughter 14 years after the events of the first movie. She's an engineer like her mom, and then some dude from the company says, hey, we found the flight recorder from the Nostromo. Come on this mission with us to go retrieve it. And then she has to go retrieve it and try and find her mom. I have not finished the game yet, just because I bought it back in 2014, played it like halfway through, and then got busy with like work and life and stuff. But maybe Ripley does have like a happy ending at the end of the video game. That would be cool. But yeah, it's like 14 years after the first movie and like 40 some before the aliens.
Okay. Man, I after you showed me some of that stuff, I kind of want to play that.
It's really fun, and it is fucking terrifying.
Is it?
It is.
You know, that would be a cool VR game. Would be like some kind of alien
Yeah.
video game.
So when it came out for the Xbox One is when they were big into like the Kinect. And I think you can still do it with like a microphone if you have a microphone attached to whatever console you're using. But if you had the microphone features on, there's an option for you to turn on ambient sounds. So like if you're hiding in a room from the alien and then like your kids come in and like, hey dad, like the alien will hear that and then come and kill you.
Oh shit. I can never play it like that. Then my daughter would interrupt me within 2 minutes. Like I'd have to play it outside or in the fucking garage or something.
I'm gonna hide in this locker right here next to the desk so the alien doesn't find me. Hey dad. Oh shit.
Fuck. Thanks a lot. Thanks a fucking lot. All right. The McLovin Award for the best or scene sealing performance. Now I kind of combined them together because I really love this duo, and I almost would have liked to have had they could have made a prequel where we just got the adventures of Parker and Brett, but I'm nominating Harry Dean Stanton and Yaphet Kotto together as a team.
You know what? I was actually gonna nominate one or the other. I couldn't decide, so we're gonna go with both. I'm gonna go with you.
Yeah, because I mean, you can't do Sigourney because she's in it too long. Scarrett's in it too much. Veronica Cartwright, I think, out of the 7 is probably got the least amount of screen time, but she doesn't really do anything.
Favorite. Yeah, she's my least favorite. Apparently, people say that she got assaulted by the alien before she died because of the way the tail was going up. Kind of feel bad for her then, but other than that, she is just, filler. She's crew filler.
Mm. I did a little fun fact about that. Those are actually the legs of Harry Dean Stanton.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I just love the two of them together. Like, I really wish we could have gotten more. Like, even like they would have done it for sure if Alien would have came out in 2019 instead of 2000 or 1979. But we would have gotten a fucking Netflix or a Hulu show about the two of them together.
Oh man, that would be great. That'd be fantastic. They have the technology. They can. They're
also both dead.
I was gonna say they're dead. Although we did get Grand Moff Tarkin in Rogue One, and he died in the 90s. So,
well, that's just doing it for like a brief cameo in a film.
Yeah.
Like a 10 episode show on Hulu might require a little bit more.
Yeah. And I know that a lot of actors and people in general just frown upon resurrecting dead actors. So
yeah,
might as well just leave them dead.
I tell you what, though, Yaphet Kotto, fucking like, I was just looking up some of the movies he was in. Like, obviously, he's in one of my all-time favorite movies. He's in Midnight Run. He's Agent Mosley. If you haven't heard, we did do Midnight Run on the show. Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast. Second cheap plug of the episode. He was in Alien. He was in Midnight Run. He was in a villain in a Bond movie. I think it's You Only Live Twice. He's in The Running Man, which is a movie we need to do at some point.
Yes.
Man, why that guy didn't have a bigger career is beyond me.
Great actor. I loved him in this movie.
Yeah, and like the funny thing of it is he's probably going to be best known. He was on a show in the 90s called Homicide. He's probably going to be best known for that.
Yeah, I remember watching a bunch of that. They did a lot of crossover episodes with Law and Order, I think, right?
I'm sure they probably did.
Yeah.
And then Harry Dean Stanton, like the ultimate fucking like character actor, especially of the 80s.
Oh yeah. He was my nominee for IMDb because like I could not place him for the longest time, but then I was like, well, no, I remember him from this and that and the other thing.
He's an Escape from New York, which we also did on
Yeah.
this show. Third cheap plug of the episode. But yeah, like the IMDb award. So before we get into that, I'm guessing we're giving it to Harry Dean and Yapet together. Okay, wise choice.
Definitely.
As far as the IMDb drug dealer number 2 award for the actor actress you may have seen in something else before, but you don't know their name. I think pretty much everybody in this movie you probably. They're too big because I mean Veronica Cartwright had a nice career too. She was in Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the best one with Donald Sutherland. She's in that. I mean, obviously Sigourney Weaver is iconic. Tom Skerritt was in Top Gun later on, and Steel Magnolias for fans of the chick flicks as they call them. But I don't think we really have a solid nominee for that one since it's such a small cast.
Right. And like I said, I mean, it was almost that way, but yeah, no, I remembered after I started looking, I was like, yeah, I've seen too many of his movies.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Like, if you've seen Escape from New York, he was in Maximum Overdrive with Emilio Estevez.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fucking cool movie too. This.
Yep.
He's one of those guys that like, for as ugly as he was, he had a pretty successful career. Like he doesn't have movie star looks by a long shot.
Right.
He kind of has that look where he, I'm sure he comes on the set. He smells a little bit like Winston Unfiltered and maybe like whatever his drink of choice was the night before.
Yeah, I can see that. Doesn't look like he would be very pleasant to smell.
If more of our audience would like knew who he was, I would totally rename this the Harry Dean Stanton IMDb award or the actress you may recognize, but no one. We need we need a contemporary version of Harry Dean Stanton.
We do. I was about to say, so he was in Lucky in 2017. I was about to ask if his last role was finding the Hulk naked inside of a hangar. But it wasn't. So I think we're good.
Man, what a career. But yeah, we can't give it the IMDb award to anybody.
Yeah, no, I agree.
All right. So, with that said, the most 1979 moment of the movie. I had a couple. I think the computer system looks very like of its time. Like, you know, this movie takes place in what, like 2050?
21.
Oh, okay.
30 something. It's 2130 something, I think.
It's a ways off.
Yeah.
We'll both be dead by the time this movie we get to that year. But the computer system they're running in this looks like it could run Oregon Trail, and that's about it.
Yeah, probably. And see, okay, so I'm in the IT field. I think that it's plausible that it would look like that, though. And the only reason I say that is because most big servers that you want to conserve, processing power on, which, if you got enough money, it doesn't matter. But you'll run command line only. No UI, no Windows, just command line, because it saves on resources. And I'm assuming Mother is a very sophisticated program, so it needs all the resources it can get. Although it probably would look better if like the text were white or something, but no, it's green.
It's Mother by Apple.
And it's got the beige like interface and stuff, like the keyboard and the giant mechanical keyboard with symbols that don't even look like letters.
That, and I'd also say this seemed to be of the movie that kind of started that fad. Like when you've just like spacecrafts being very dark and like claustrophobic looking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It seems to be like kind of a trope of that era too.
You have a lot of the weird like shapes that make up the geometry of the spaceship too. Like it looks like all trapezoids. Like that's a weird shape to make your spaceship out of.
Yeah, it looks like it's essentially like a soundproof like music studio.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably on purpose, but I don't know, maybe.
But that's all I could think of, really.
Yeah, I would say the computer system definitely, especially that like beige monitor, like the monitor that looks like it sat in a room full of smoke for like 20 years and it yellowed over time.
Mm-hmm.
The wardrobe is a little dated. Definitely looks like the hairstyles in the wardrobe is definitely the 1979 style.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, fashion goes in circles, or so I'm told. So maybe not. But I would agree with the computers for sure.
I will say that Sigourney Weaver this movie actually had the best hairstyle that she's had in these movies. She kind of had that fro in Aliens. And she has no hair at all in Alien 3.
She kind of had the same hairstyle in Ghostbusters.
Yeah, that kind of that bouffant, for lack of a better term.
Right.
The Indiana Jones, it belongs in the Museum Award for the prop you would want for your personal collection. I had Dallas's Nostromo jacket.
That would be cool. I would want the face hugger.
That would be kind of a cool one to have too.
I think the face hugger. Maybe one of the flamethrowers. That would be cool too.
Yeah, I don't know if for me and you as well, we've got small children running around the house. If the flamethrower is like you can't operate it now. Because I know for me, I know at least one of my kids would like try to test run that and probably scorch all the hair off my dogs or set my house on fire.
Yeah.
So I want no part of that. I'm still going with the jacket though. I think like owning apparel from movies is really cool and like you can easily display it.
Yeah, and plus it has the name of the ship on there too. So
yeah, that's what I'm rolling with.
Okay,
but the face hugger is pretty awesome though too. Yeah. I can't
face hugger. You can't tell which movie it's from though. You can tell which movie the Nostromo jacket is from.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could do the face hugger too.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what though? Yeah. It's your collection of mine. We can have different opinions on this. If that's what you want in your house, by golly, you'll get it in your house.
I want face huggers in my house.
And I want Tom Skerritt's Nostromo jacket. All right. Hall of Fame plaque. This is where if there were a movie Hall of Fame and they were putting this actor, actress, director, whomever into the Hall of Fame, this go on their Hall of Fame plaque. Sigourney Weaver, obviously, yes. I don't know if it would be for this movie, though, or just the character of Ripley itself, because this is by far her most notorious film role. Like, she's known as this character. Whether she goes in for Alien or Aliens, I guess they probably I would say they would put it in as the Alien franchise.
Yeah. Yeah, Alien franchise. She's definitely well known for Ghostbusters as well, but not nearly as much.
Yeah.
Um, trying to think of anything that comes even close. I can't. There's just nothing.
Yeah, I mean, she's gotten a couple of Oscar nominations. Actually, she got one for Aliens, if I'm not mistaken. And she got one for Gorillas in the Mist. I think those are the only two she's gotten. But yeah, it has to be as this character. So I'm going to say the Alien franchise as a whole.
Okay.
Ridley Scott. Now, this is a good one. For those of you that are not familiar with Ridley Scott's filmography, he has Alien, he's done Blade Runner, he's done Gladiator, he's done The Martian, he's done Kingdom of Heaven. He's got a pretty substantial career from the late 70s to right now, actually. I think he's working on I thought he had something coming out here this year. Oh yeah, I think he's doing the Gladiator sequel, which I don't know how they're going to pull that off, but whatever. Not my money.
I would say that this goes in his Hall of Fame. He's got a huge filmography, but I think this is the first movie that I think of when I think of him. So
yeah, see, my opinions, I say Gladiator because he won Best Director for Gladiator. He won Gladiator won Best Picture. Huge hit at the box office. I mean, okay. Blade Runner, I mean, it would have to be between Gladiator, Blade Runner, and Alien.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say Gladiator simply because that's what he won an Oscar for.
Okay.
But it's not a slight, not a slight against those others, because quite frankly, Alien and Blade Runner, well, I'll save that question for later on the episode, but they're very renowned films in the sci-fi genre. So I'm going to say Gladiator. Now this one I find to be a little funny. Tom Skerritt. It's this. He was in Top Gun. He was in Steel Magnolias as Sally Field's husband. Or would it be the shout out he gets in Ted as being Ted's boss's neighbor? He's friends with Tom Skerritt, which now is like what I think of whenever I hear the name. Like, Tom Skerritt helped me work on my car the other day.
I don't think so. Probably this. Out of all the other movies that you're mentioning, probably this.
I would say it's this or Top Gun.
Right.
Top Gun. I always remember him most from Top Gun. Because I'd seen Top Gun well before I seen Alien. I seen Top Gun as a kid.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll give it to Top Gun. But I think Alien, but
hey, you know what? We're not the Hall of Fame committee.
We're not.
Hall of Fame. We have our own Hall of Fame, but we just put movies in. We don't have an official Hall of Fame. But if you guys decide to fund us so we don't have to do our 9-to-5 gigs anymore, try to make that Hall of Fame happen.
Send us that fuck you money.
Yeah. Send us that scratch. Last one I got to Ian Holm. I am thinking it's this or is Bilbo Baggins.
Bilbo Baggins. I mean, this is great. I love him in this. I like him probably better in this than I like him as Bilbo Baggins. But everybody's going to know him as Bilbo. So
yeah, especially people listen to the show now. But yeah, I would say it'd have to be Bilbo as well. Yeah. All right. Burning questions. I had a few about this movie. I hope you can help me find an answer for. Is this the best Alien movie?
Yeah.
Not in terms of like the Alien franchise, but movies about aliens as a whole.
No.
All right.
I don't think so.
What would be your number one? Because, I mean, you've got Aliens. I'd say Close Encounters has got to be in that conversation.
Independence Day is also
Independence
there.
Day.
I think if this were framed differently as like, is this the best like scary alien movie? Yes. But best alien movie, it's hard because there are so many good ones. Like Close Encounters and Independence Day are two of my favorite alien movies.
I would say it'd be, for me anyways, it would be between Aliens, and Independence Day.
Yeah.
Which you can also hear on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. That's 4.
Third one.
That's 4.
Is it 4?
Yeah.
Oh. Nice.
We're cooking tonight. Cooking with gas.
Woo.
We kind of touched on this one earlier, but Sigourney Weaver, the greatest female action film star of all time, I'd say yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it, like, she's had that championship belt since 1979. I don't think anyone's taken it from her.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Charlize got close. She got real close. But then, like, she hasn't done anything in a while, though. Like, she had that run where she was in Atomic Blonde. She did Mad Max Fury Road. Kind of wish she was in Furiosa, but I guess it's a prequel, so kind of makes sense for her not to be in it. But then she had that movie on Netflix and stuff. But I mean, she's probably the closest one. Angelina Jolie had a little bit of a run, like,
yeah, but I don't think they were widely acclaimed. Like, I don't think anybody's gonna put Tomb Raider or Wanted over Alien.
No. Mad Max Fury Road, on the other hand,
yeah,
that's entered the conversation at least.
Right.
Man, Wanted's such a fucking cool movie, though. And it got Morgan Freeman to drop an F-bomb, which I hadn't heard in years. Like, that's the most cold I've heard him deliver a line since Street Smart. He was a pimp in that movie. You ever heard of Street Smart?
I don't think so.
It's a 87 movie. It's got Christopher Reeve as a reporter, and Morgan Freeman plays a pimp. Okay. And he's kind of doing this investigative report on prostitution, and yeah. It's really good.
That sounds super interesting.
Yeah, you could see Morgan Freeman pretty much act like a pimp. It's wild. Because you just think, like, later on, like, man, it's fucking red. And he's backhanding ho.
Get busy living or get busy dying.
Yeah, that not the 50 Cent song or the album, but last one. What's the purpose of the fucking cat on that ship? That asshole cat Jones.
Companionship. I don't know. Okay, so my question is, where's the cat-sized hibernation pod?
Does the hibernation pod work for cats, or is it just made for humans? Because, you know, like, the weight differential's got to be substantial.
Yeah. How long are they out there? I'm assuming they're pretty far out there because they can, like, reach Jupiter and stuff, right? So they got to be asleep for a really long time. The cat can't just, like, stay awake.
I think they were asleep for like dead. 6 months.
Yeah.
When they got woken up.
Okay, so maybe the cat would be alive. But who would feed the cat for 6 months?
It's got one of those Doc Brown, like, animal feeders. It's probably just got like a giant shit-looking pile of cat food sitting in a corner somewhere. That's what the alien used to survive when he couldn't kill anybody. He'd just go over there and, like, just nibble on this giant pile of fucking cat food. But I don't know. But yeah, I don't understand the purpose of that cat. The only thing I could figure is, like, to kind of give them a sense of normalcy being on that ship.
Yeah. Yeah, it did seem like, so this is one of the things that I like about Alien. It seemed like they were more normal people than most people in sci-fi movies are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they had regular clothes on and they weren't like in like, white coats or anything like that.
Yeah, they didn't carry around like guns or fancy like science fiction weapons either.
Right. They had a regular flamethrower at one point. And they ate regular food at a dinner table. I think even when they're panning across the ship, they have all of their coffee cup on a shelf that has like them in a row.
Mm.
It's like normal stuff.
Yeah. That makes sense. Another question about the cat. Has there ever been a cat featured in movies that's like not a prop for like a supervillain? Like, I mean, like a cat, like a cool, like, a cool, like, or a likable cat. Don't say fucking Garfield because those movies are not any good.
No, not Garfield. Sassy from Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey from the 90s.
Okay, I'd give you that.
Voiced by Sally Field.
I'll give you that. Yeah. But
that's the only one I can think of, though.
Yeah, because everything else, I'm just going to like Mr. Jinx is like Dr. Evil's cat.
Yeah,
Blowfield had a cat too in the Bond movies. Yeah, didn't he? Yeah, which is kind of like
it has a name. I don't remember it. Some Bond fanatic is going to listen to this podcast, be like, I can't believe you don't remember Blofeld's cat's name.
You fucking suck. This show sucks. I'm gonna send you $50 to never record an episode again. It's like, all right, we're starting. Here it goes. Last one, the Finding Forrester You're the Man Now Dog Award for the life lesson learned from this movie. The one that I would learn is, no job is worth putting yourself in a situation where your life will be in danger from a fucking alien.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, just like, hey, you know what? No matter what your bosses say, like if you don't think the situation, like if the situation could put you in danger, just fucking skip it, man. Like what's the worst they can do? Is fire you?
Yeah. I mean, okay. Not saying this to get fired or to hate on my coworkers, but if Facehugger is on one of them and my choices are kick them off the ship and haul ass or take them onto the ship, I'm going to kick them off the ship.
I'd have done it too.
Yeah. It's like, nope, you're staying here later.
Sorry, man. Yeah. So life lesson from this movie is like, if you're told to go somewhere and you think that your life could potentially be in danger, just don't do it.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Just don't.
Of course,
that'll keep your coworker from getting their face hugged.
Yeah. And the rest of your coworkers get murdered viciously by this fucking foreign life being. Of course, if they would have done that, it just would have been like a 15-minute short film about these group of people in space and their fucking cat.
That's true. Then you get the face hugger like crawling out of the egg, like, is anybody there? Nope. Okay, I'm going back in.
Let's go back in. Is there a way I can seal this back up so I can scare somebody the next time? All right. So without further ado, that was Alien. We hope you guys dug it. Definitely go check out the movie. It's a landmark science fiction movie for sure. It's probably on the Mount. I would say it's on the Mount Rushmore sci-fi. Would be, for me anyways, it would be Star Wars, this, Blade Runner, and probably Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Love Close Encounters. Agree.
Some people might say 2001, but like I've said, I'm just not a big fan of it. Just can't get into it, but that's an argument for another day. But
yeah.
Hope you guys dug it. If you like the show, please hit that subscribe button where you're listening to us. We are on pretty much any podcast directory that you can think of. We are on social media. Those links are in the show description below. Please give us a follow on those. That way you can get all the current news on the show. If you dug what you heard, please take a brief moment to give us a review. That helps us know what we're doing right, what we need to improve on, so we can make the show the absolute best we can possibly make it. So until next week, we will talk to you guys and gals later.